welcome to Breathe Better with Elizabeth. I'm Elizabeth. Today I'm going to go over COPD and bloating. So while COPD does not cause bloating, most people who suffer from COPD also suffer from bloating. So I'm going to give you some correlations between the two and then also some tips on how to decrease the chances that you will have this bloating. So at the top of my list is inflammation. While COPD does not cause inflammation, it is a key part of COPD. So COPD is known for the inflammation in the lungs. Well, the inflammation in the intestines will cause bloating. So if you can decrease the inflammation in your body overall, your COPD symptoms will be a little bit better, as well as the bloating symptoms. So that's why I put inflammation on here, even though each one of those do not actually cause the inflammation. It's just something that happens to be part of both. So next on here I have anxiety. Now this is a little bit different because the COPD can cause anxiety, and that's just simply because you suffer from shortness of breath long enough and your body is already, it's going to get into that anxious state that can stay, so it can cause anxiety. Well, when you have anxiety, the more anxious that you are, you tend to stick into the fight or flight mode, which if you're in the fight or flight mode, you can't also be in the rest and digest mode. So there are two different modes, you can't be in both. So if your anxiety is super, super high and you're really, really anxious, it's going to be a lot harder for your stomach to digest everything that you've eaten. So anxiety, if you can kind of control the anxiety, that's going to help with both your COPD symptoms and your bloating symptoms. And the best way to do that is through meditation, slow, deep breathing exercises, and sometimes even medication or speaking to a mental health professional is what you need to do. So like I said, if you can control the top two, then your COPD symptoms will be better, as well as your bloating. Now next we have shortness of air. This is on here because if you get really short of breath and you don't know the proper way to breathe or to slow your breathing down, the tendency is to take short, deep breaths, which can actually cause you to swallow air. So of course, if you swallow air, you will have bloating. Next is hyperinflated lungs. So COPD does cause hyperinflation of the lungs. This is because as the disease progresses, the elasticity of the lungs starts to break down and decrease. So you can get air in, but it's hard for you to get it back out. So that leads to basically trapped air in your lungs. Your lungs will get a little bit bigger, and it's going to push down on your diaphragm and your abdomen. So this will cause bloating. So next I have diet on here. Because of the hyperinflated lungs and also because of the anxiety and the inflammation, all of it that can cause the bloating, it's really important that you pay attention to your diet in the fact that you want to cut down on foods that you know cause gas. And then there are several that you may not know can cause inflammation, like carbonated drinks, sugary drinks, fried food, they're processed foods, processed meats especially. All of those can cause inflammation, which can cause bloating. Another quick diet change that you can make is try not to ever get too full, because if you're too full, your stomach is going to swell and it's going to push up on your diaphragm, making it harder to breathe and cause bloating. So what they recommend is that you just eat smaller meals throughout the day rather than 3 large meals. Next is sleep apnea. So sleep apnea in and of itself does not cause bloating, but if you wear a CPAP or a BiPAP for your sleep apnea, that can cause bloating, and that's just because it's pushing the air in and some can get in your stomach. And finally, I have medication, and this is because if you are on a medication that can cause constipation, then that can also cause bloating. So as you can see, there are many, many reasons why someone who has COPD also suffers from bloating. And it's very important that you try to control these symptoms because that's going to make your overall well-being so much better. So just little changes at a time over a period of time is going to make the biggest difference in your COPD.